Now it's quit doing Philippa's here. Hi,
hey,
guys.
Philippa.
Smiley face. Hi.
Cool. Welcome back.
Yes. Get my mic over here. I still have my mic over here. If I get this, oops, sorry about that. I know I was going to have this mic on the other side, but it did not work in position while over there. So.
We shall see what we shall see.
Free again.
I did listen briefly on the big headphones, and we do have audio of a sort, so hopefully we're good.
Ziggy is here.
Hello, Ziggy.
Hi, George.
Good
and Lynn.
evening.
Greetings again from Germany, and Deborah Lynn is here.
Hey,
Hi,
Debbie.
Guys from Debbie. Hi, Debbie. I have to put my mic a little different there. I can't get my mic set right.
It's great to have all of you with us as we start our Halloween celebration early.
Yes.
Halloween is one of my favorite holidays,
There.
and you're making
Terrible noise.
thunderous noises when you do
Sorry
that,
about
so
that.
try to get
I'm all done doing that.
Oh, good.
Unless people can't hear me, in which case.
Glad to hear it.
I think your fingers are touching your mic when you strum up there near the.
Yeah.
Might need to move that.
I think we need to move it back. Dan Woking was here on our way back from California and did a little work with our mic positioning and our audio.
We understand it, but we can't seem to.
And we're getting used to it.
That's why I said I had to. Now, I'm going to pull this back.
Pull it back just a little bit.
That is, I think, going to work.
I think so, and I also think it could go just a half an inch to my left toward the table. Yeah. That's more like where it was, I think.
Okay.
Well, we certainly couldn't put it there because I felt that too. Thank you for attending our rehearsal this afternoon.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Debbie said, our grandkids did Beggar's Night on Thursday, so they're done with Halloween already.
Well, hopefully they haven't eaten all the candy yet.
Yeah, we have this to look. Oh, I put my mic way over there again. I'm sorry. Hello. I'm back. Okay.
Yeah, we a lot of down here they have what they call trunk or treat, where they have people in cars lined up and down Main Street, and all the merchants and stuff. And a lot of the kids go to that these days. When I was a kid, I loved all those old 40s and 50s and 60s science fiction movies, especially the ones about the big bugs. Man, I loved the giant ants and the giant grasshoppers and all of those things. And so I have, over the years, built up a collection of those, and every Halloween I try to sit back and recapture the days of wonderment of my youth.
Debbie said, well, I read hers about the grandkids.
Yeah.
And then Flip said, Beggar's Night tomorrow for us. And Lavonda says, hi.
Hey, Lavonda! Oh,
and Dan
good.
is here. Hi,
Hey.
y'all. Can't stay long, but I wanted to hear how you sound. So far, so good.
Yeah, we had to move Lynn's mic to the other side because we couldn't set up the camera. But other than that, we've duplicated as faithfully as possible what we have. You left a cable down here. When you get back from where you're going next week, I'll mail it back to you. And thanks again for all your help at the California Autoharp Gathering. more on that just a little bit later.
Flip said, wish it would hurry up and happen so I'd quit sneaking bits of candy. Yes, I
Yes.
know. I've got
We've
that.
already had to buy a second round
We did,
because of
yes.
the adult children we have around here.
Yeah, the adult children. I don't know any
Little
of that.
goblins and ghouls and things. You know, somehow that candy just disappears. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of things that I want to talk about that I'll mention a little bit later too. This is an interesting show. We're trying a lot of new things. Last week, I was invited to attend the California Autoharp gathering, which happened last week, Tuesday the 25th through Monday. Tuesday the 19th through Monday the 25th. And they let me do 3 workshops, and I got to do a concert, and it was just a tremendous time. But Tuesday I was really not good for anything. And the result is I only had like 3 days to put this show together, where I normally, you know, kind of work on it over 2 weeks.
Scary, which is
So
appropriate.
it's a scary show. And there just wasn't enough time to learn all the words to all these songs. So I'm using my audio prompter today. And I don't know how that's going to work out, but that's better than forgetting half the words. They just may come in a second late. But anyway, let's see.
Well, I want to say, Dan said CAG was awesome. I think that cable was bad, not a hurry to get it back.
Oh, is that the one that was bad? Okay, as long as you're not hurting for it, we're good. Okay. Well, I have a request. Bob Hale requested gravy and bread. And I usually do requests at the top of the show, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then, Bob, if you tune in later, you can go back to the beginning of the show and hear this. I've traveled this wide world all over. I've stayed in some fancy hotels. Some were good, some were bad, some were different, and some were the best in the world. This one place I stayed was a Lulu. So good, so cunning, so neat. Now you may wonder how I'm still alive when you hear what they gave us to eat. On Monday we had bread and gravy. On Tuesday 'twas gravy and bread. On Wednesday and Thursday 'twas gravy on toast. That was nothing but gravy on bread. On Friday I spoke to the landlord. Would you please give us something instead? On Saturday morning, by way of a change, we had gravy without any bread. Sometimes it's best not to rock the boat.
The boat, yes.
Let me just do a little bit of repositioning here.
It seems a good idea that you got there. At least I hope it works.
Well, I hope it does too. You know, I obviously can't read Braille lyrics and play music at the same time. And so I bought a pedal like transcriptionists use. And I've got a piece of software that allows me to use that pedal to send keystrokes.
Flip said general volume could stand a bit of increase, not a lot.
No, thanks for that.
I don't know how to do that exactly.
Don't know if...
Unless we just move Is it our audio mics, maybe?
Well, if the general volume is, then it's not the audio mics.
Okay.
The problem being, things were moved for very good reasons,
Yeah.
but I don't know if there's any general volume left. And let's see. This mixer is real backwards from the way it was, and I'm not sure that I can even do anything about it, even if I could. No, I can't reach it. I can't reach the... Sorry, Felipe, that's just how it is. I can no longer reach the controls the way it's set up now. They're completely out of reach. I don't know, Lin, can you get out of there? Well, I'm not going to mess with it. Yeah. Unless it's really bad, I'm not going to fool with it. Okay. This next song is one that was done in 1950 by... it was written by a guy named Charles Green, and it was done by Phil Harris, who was a big band leader back then, and it's called The Thing. While I was walking down the beach one bright and sunny day, I saw a great big wooden box a-floating in the bay. I pulled it in and opened it up, and much to my surprise, I discovered up right before my eyes. I discovered up right before my eyes. I picked it up and ran to town as happy as a king. I took it to a guy I knew who'd buy most anything. But this is what he hollered at me as I walked in his shop. Get out of here with that before I call a cop. Get out of here with that before I call a cop. I turned around and got right out a-running for my life. And then I took it home with me to give it to my wife. But this is what she hollered at me as I walked in the door. Get out of here with that, and don't come back no more. Get out of here with that, and don't come back no more. I wandered all around the town until I chanced to meet a hobo who was looking for a handout on the street. He said he'd take most any old thing, he was a desperate man. But when I showed him up, he turned around and ran. And when I showed him up, he turned around and ran. I wandered on for many years, a victim of my fate, until one day I came upon St. Peter at the gate. And when I tried to take it inside, he told me where to go. Get out of here with that, and take it down below. Get out of here with that, and take it down below. The moral of this story is, if you're out on the beach and you should see a great big box and it's within your reach, don't ever stop and open it up. No matter, that's my advice to you, 'cause you'll never get rid of the, no matter what you do. No, you'll never get rid of the, no matter what you do. The Thing.
Nice. Ziggy said, I think the volume is okay, only Lin is a bit too quiet. Flip had said K, to what you said about.
Okay.
And then she also said might look at it for future shows.
Well,
And,
like
we
I
are
said,
going to do.
we
just
we
that
had
because-
Dan set it all up, and he moved the mixer so that he could get at it, and we didn't move it back, so I can't reach it because it's behind my laptop and my drink and all those kinds of things, and I simply cannot get to the controls. So it is what it is.
Yes.
Lynn, you might try to move your mic a little closer to you.
That's what I'm doing. Well, I did a little bit.
Okay, you might move it even a little closer, and speak up a bit if you can. But it sounds like if your volume is down, we need to bring the mic up a little.
It's having to have it point toward me as Dan had, and then also the leg of the chair. So there's little challenges. Yes, challenges.
Challenges.
Yes. Challenges.
Okay, well, here's to...
Also, I can speak louder. Let's see. Dan said, don't want to get into a thing, but if you both bring your mics closer, it will help. That's what I've been trying
Well, I
to
thought
do.
that, but I thought I had it about where you put it.
Mine is the aiming issue. Ziggy said, for this song, it is good you have that plastic cord bar cover.
Yes, it is. If I can't do it without it.
No, and I think now I am closer to my mic. So we are.
I'm a bit closer, and the Autoharp mics are where they belong.
Yes.
Okay, here's a song that was originally recorded by Vaughn Monroe in 1950.
I like that guy. Vaughn Monroe's a favorite.
And it's called Ghost Riders in the Sky. An old cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he went along his way. And all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw, a-plowing through the ragged sky, and up a cloudy draw. Yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yay. Ghost herd in the sky. Their friends were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel. And their horns were black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as he looked up in the sky, where he saw the riders coming hard and heard their mournful cry. Yippee-yi-oh. Riders in the sky. Their faces blurred, their eyes are gaunt, their shirts all soaked with sweat. They're riding hard to catch that herd, but they ain't caught 'em yet. For they got to ride forever in that range up in the sky, on horses snorting fire. As they ride on, hear their cry. Yippee-yi-oh, yippee-yi-yay. Ghost riders in the sky. As the riders loped on by him, they heard one call his name. Save your soul from hell or riding on our range. Then cowboys, change your ways today, or with us you will ride, trying to catch the devil's herd across the endless sky. Yippee-yi-oh.
Philip said both sound better, and Ziggy said both of your audio is now okay, at least for me. And then Pat has joined us. Pat Burns.
Hello,
Hi,
Pat.
George and wife.
Top of the evening to you, sir.
Yes, and Hillary also is here. Hillary Robinson. Hi, George and Lynn. Sorry I'm late as usual, but I'm all ready to listen and join in now. And welcome, Hillary.
Welcome, Hillary. The Irish contingent is here in full.
And Brenda Hale.
Hello,
George
Brenda.
And Lynn. We are having trouble to connect to your show, but we did hear gravy and bread.
Oh, good. I'm sorry you're having problems. Hopefully that will get resolved. But I'm glad you were able to hear it. Hello, Lulu. Hi. Lulu has recovered. Lulu did a masterful job.
She was a good,
at CAG,
I hear
the
good
California
things.
Autoharp Gathering. She impressed everybody. Laid there quietly through innumerable late night jam sessions, and just did a tremendous job. 4 airplane flights, 2 to get there, 2 to get back, and she handled it like she always does. It was a great week. We met so many nice, friendly folks who were always willing to lend a helping hand with music or, technique, or just to get to know each other and all. It was really, really nice, and the staff was just as friendly as the participants, and everybody ate together, did things together. The staff was part of the gathering, not just when they were on stage or performing or whatever, but all of the other times, all the rest of it too.
Ziggy said I recognized Lulu on one of the CAG photos.
Yeah. Yeah, you said you didn't recognize me without my hat. I wore it for my performance, but I did 3 workshops. The first one was about lap style playing, where I basically just showed people, what it felt like to play that way. Played some simple songs, and the second one was called A Bit of Bluegrass, where I showed people the picking style that I use for my bluegrass tunes, and no one had ever seen it before. I thought sure somebody played that way, but apparently not. So that was a surprise. People like Ray Choi said they'd never seen anything like it, and Paul Rainey and folks that had, Ray's got 2 MLAG championships under his belt, and when I played Foggy Mountain Breakdown, he was just blown away.
Hillary said we heard a recording of you doing the Foggy Mountain Breakdown at CAG.
Did you? Okay.
So.
Wow. I didn't know what all they'd put up yet. I haven't been over there. I've been concentrating on
getting the show and
getting my life back together.
Getting your life back together.
But it was really great. And then the third workshop that I did was about humor and the different kinds of comedy songs that there were. And I had several people there, but only one student, and I got the hint, and it basically devolved into a kind of a mini performance, because they all wanted to hear more of the music that I play. On Saturday night, they let me play for almost a whole hour by the time we got done, because they kept asking me to do more things. We played 12 songs, some of which you're going to hear today, and Dan joined me on 3 of them. Mike Mueller lent Dan a guitar so he could play music all week, and it was very well received. I got a lot of laughs and a lot of applause and a lot of compliments for the rest of the gathering. I hope I can go again, because it's the most fun I've had in many, many years.
Yeah.
It really was. The food was great, cafeteria style, all you could eat. It was all well prepared. The rooms were roomy and spacious and nice. It just really was a great time. Met some really, really good musicians, and I learned a lot. I played with more people, you know, side by side than I have in the whole rest of my life combined.
Wow.
And that was the concert that I did was the first one I've ever done. I played some bar gigs, but basically you're trying to outshout the drunks when you do that, so I don't count those. But it was the first one I'd ever done. So it's something that I will always remember, and I want to thank Mike Mueller for inviting me and his staff for putting on a really great event.
Gregory Carr is here.
Hello,
He
Greg.
said, good morning, long time no see. Looking forward to some good music.
Oh, yes. Well, we're going to do our best here on our Haunted Halloween show.
And Ziggy replied to Hillary and said, me too, on the Foggy Mountain Breakdown. So
Okay. I'll have to look for
Ziggy
that.
heard that too, yeah.
Anyway, where are we here? Ah, yes. Here's the first song that Dan and I played together in the concert. It's called Tales of the Phantom Ship. It was recorded by a Canadian named Lenny Gallant, and we shall do our best. Another new thing, while I was there, Pete Daigle was there. And I went over to meet him, you know, because I've corresponded with him and everything. And he had a little shop set up. So during times when I didn't have to do workshops and things, I had him overhaul this Autoharp for me. He put new springs. He lowered the action on the buttons. He refelted all the chord bars. And it changed the whole way it feels. So I'm learning to play it again. So if you hear some things, you'll know why. Anyway, Lenny Gallant's Tales.
I had one from Ziggy.
Okay.
Okay. I'm glad for you, and I'm glad for you and your success at CAG, but I'm also glad that you are safely home again. And I think many folks and I agree.
I'm real glad for that too.
Yeah.
I've always had a fear of being mislaid in an airport. And nobody knew I was there. The staff of the airport lost track of me, and I was there like forever.
Nan says hi. Good to
Hi,
see
Nan.
you. Hi to Nan.
Welcome. Good to see you.
Yes.
On a night as black as a raven's feather, when thunder cracked like a slap of leather, and the wind whips through the black spruce on the shore, and the waves are pounding on the beaches harder as the last of the fishermen reach safe harbor. The wind turns cold, cuts to the door. Out on the wild Northumberland Strait, the ball of fire skips over the waves, and those who watch, they can't believe their eyes. There's a burst of flame and a flash of light. There on the tide is a frightening sight. A tall ship, all aflame, lights up the sky. Tales of the Phantom Ship, from truck to keel ablaze. She sails the wild Northumberland Strait. No one knows her name. Tales of the Phantom Ship, it's a ship of fire, they cry. Hard against the wind she sails. No one can say why. Said she's a three-masted square rigger, 400 tons or maybe bigger, with fire at every rope and spar and sail. Out of the east, oh, the wind blows west, plowing through the strait on an unknown quest, cutting through the waves with the strength of a full-force gale. Why she appears there's none can know. Some say it's just a moonlit glow, but those who've seen her swear they tell no lies. They tell how her bow suddenly drops down, and into the depths of the strait she's bound, and the wind goes wild with wailing, chilling cries. Tales of the phantom ship, from Puck to Kiel ablaze. She sails the wide Northumberland Strait, no one knows her name. Tales of the phantom ship, it's a ship of fire, they cry. Hard against the wind she sails, no one can say why. She's an immigrant ship of old, Highland Scots whose land was stolen, lost at sea while seeking the new land. Or a ghostly American privateer that plundered innocent harbors here, cursed to sail the strait for Rotterdam. But an old man sang a song to me, 600 Acadia drowned at sea, deported long ago from St. John's Isle. He says they sail the choppy strait, through time and tide they navigate, searching for the means to end their long exile. Tales of the phantom ship, from Puck to Kiel ablaze. She sails the wild Northumberland Strait, no one knows her name. Tales of the phantom ship, it's a ship of fire, they cry. Hard against the wind she sails, no one can say why. Tales of the phantom ship, from Puck to Kiel ablaze. She sails the wild Northumberland Strait, no one knows her name. Tales of the phantom ship, it's a ship of fire, they cry. Hard against the wind she sails, no one can say why. Hard against the wind she sails, when will she sail again?
Yes, it is. Pat said it does sound a lot better, George.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Let us see what other mischief we can get up to here today. Here's a song by Bobby Boris and the Crypt Kickers. Only hit they ever had. Wonder why. It's called The Monster Mash.
Jerry Burgess Jr. Good evening, guys. Hope all is well. Great tunes as always, George.
Hey,
welcome,
Jerry. Thanks for coming by.
Yes.
Wow. Got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. I'm going to have more to say about CAG and about Pete Daigle here very shortly. This song was written by a guy named Leonard Rosenman. Leonard may not want to admit it, but he made some money out of it, that's for sure. Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers. It's called Monster Mash. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash, he did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, he did the mash. He caught on in a flash, he did the mash, he did the monster mash. From my laboratory in Castle East to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the mash, they did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, they did the mash. It caught on in a flash, they did the mash, they did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun, the party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five. They played the mash, they played the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. They played the mash, it caught on in a flash. They played the mash, they played the monster mash. Out from his coffin Drax's voice did ring. It seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?" It's now the mash, it's now the monster mash, the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash. It's now the mash, it's caught on in a flash. It's now the mash, it's now the monster mash. Now everything is cool, Drax a part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. Then you can mash, then you can monster mash, the monster mash, and do my graveyard smash. Then you can mash, you'll catch on in a flash. Then you can mash, then you can monster mash. Mash good. Easy, Igor, you impetuous young boy. Mash good.
Very good. I like that song.
There's a parody of that, believe it or not, that's coming up later. That you won't want to miss, unless you just have to. In which case, you can come back to Autoharp Down Home and listen to it later.
Yes.
Scare all your friends away.
Hillary said, great song.
All right. Thank you, Hillary. I'm glad you liked it. Here is a song that was recorded by Leroy Troy. I don't know who the artist is. I probably could find out. I just didn't have a lot of time. And the tune will be familiar to you even if the subject matter is not. It's called Ghost Chickens in the Sky. We had ghost riders. Now we're going to have ghost chickens. I hope the riders don't run over the chickens.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can have drumsticks and burgers down there in hell if you want to. A chicken farmer took a walk out on his farm one day. He paused by the coop as he went along his way, when all at once a rotten egg hit him in the eye. It was a sight that he dreaded. Ghost chickens in the sky. Ghost chickens in the sky. He'd been a chicken farmer since he was 24. Working for the colonel for 30 years or more, killing all them chickens and sending them to fry, and now they want revenge. Ghost chickens in the sky. Beaks were black and shiny and their eyes were blazing red. They didn't have no feathers, these chickens, they were dead. They picked that farmer up and he died by the claw. They cooked him extra crispy and they ate him with coleslaw. Those chickens in the sky. Those chickens in the sky. Is nothing sacred? Nope.
Nope.
It's not. We even make fun of our own songs around here. Here's another kind of ghost story, if you will. Well, whether you will or not. It was written by Tommy Fail and was sung by Red Sovine. It's called Phantom 309. I was out on the West Coast trying to make a buck, and things didn't work out. I was down on my luck. Got tired of roaming and bumming around, so I started thumbing back east toward my hometown. Made a lot of miles the first few days, and I figured I'd be home in a week if my luck held out this way. But the third night I got stranded way out of town on a cold, lonely crossroads. Rain was pouring down. I was hungry and freezing, done caught a chill, when the lights of a big set light topped the hill. Oh, I sure was glad to hear them air brakes come on. And I climbed in that cab where I knew it'd be warm. At the wheel sat a big man. He weighed about 210. He stuck out his hand and said with a grin, "Big Joe's the name." I told him mine. He said, "The name of my rig is Phantom 309. Well, I asked him why he called his rig such a name. He said, "Son, this old Mac can put 'em all to shame. There ain't a driver or a rig a-running any line that's seen nothing but taillights from Phantom 309. Well, we rode and talked the better part of the night, till the lights of a truck stop came into sight. He said, "I'm sorry, son, this is as far as you go, 'cause I gotta make a turn just on up the road." Well, he tossed me a dime as he pulled her in low, said, "Have yourself a hot cup on old Big Joe." And Joe and his rig roared out into the night. Oh, in nothing flat, he was clean out of sight. I went inside and ordered me a cup. Told the waiter Big Joe was setting me up. Oh, you could have heard a pin drop. The place got deathly quiet. The waiter's face turned kind of white. "Well, did I say something wrong?" I said with a halfway grin. He said, "No, this happens now and then. Every driver in here knows Big Joe. But son, let me tell you what happened about 10 years ago. At the crossroads tonight, where you flagged him down, there was a busload of kids coming from town. And they were right in the middle when Big Joe topped the hill. It could have been slaughtered, but he turned his wheel. Well, Joe lost control, went into a skid, gave his life to save that bunch of kids. There at that crossroads was the end of the line for Big Joe and Phantom 309. But now and then some hiker will come by, and like you, Big Joe will give him a ride. Here, have another cup, and forget about the dive. Keep it as a souvenir from Big Joe and Phantom 309.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah. 1962, I think, is when Red did that one.
Brenda said, nice one, George, on the chickens, ghost chickens.
Thank you.
And Ziggy said, great fun with the ghost chickens. Smiley face.
I might just accidentally do that tonight in the song circle.
And Nancy Beatty, LOL, on the ghost chickens, too.
Yeah. Well, who says you can't have fun on Halloween?
Right.
Let's see here. What have we next? Chow Mein. Let me get these. Let me find this. Shaw Mank, Joe Kingston, and John Duffy wrote this. Lots of people have done it. Billy Ed Wheeler is the version that I first heard. Anyway, it's called Bringing Mary Home. I was driving down a lonely road one dark and stormy night when a little girl by the roadside showed up in my headlights. I stopped and she got in the back, and in a shaky tone she said, my name is Mary, please won't you take me home. She must have been so frightened all alone there in the night. There was something strange about her. Her face was deadly white. She sat so pale and quiet in the back seat all alone. I never will forget the night I took Mary home. I pulled into the driveway where she told me to go. Got out to help her from the car and opened up the door. But I could not believe my eyes, the back seat was bare. I looked all around the car, but Mary wasn't there. A light shone from the porch, a woman opened up the door. I asked about the little girl that I was looking for. Then the lady gently smiled and brushed a tear away. She said it sure was nice of you to go out of your way. But 13 years ago today, in a wreck just down the road, our darling Mary lost her life, and we still miss her so. Thank you for your trouble and the kindness you have shown. You're the 13th one who's been here bringing Mary home. You're the 13th one who's been here bringing Mary home.
Wow. Gregory Carr said, nice song with Phantom 309, one of my favorites.
Thanks, Greg. Glad you stopped in today and got to hear it.
Yes, and Ziggy, did one ever get a cup of coffee for a dime?
One did.
One did.
In fact, that dates the song. Like I said, it was back in the 60s, and indeed, over here for many years till Starbucks came along.
Well, now I think
you
there
could
was
get
a
a
little
coffee.
in between.
You could get a cup of coffee for $0.10.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a cultural colloquialism when somebody said something that was basically worthless. People would say, "Buddy, that and $0.10 will get you a cup of coffee."
Right.
So yeah, it was part of Americana for decades.
They don't say that anymore.
No.
The inflation, Anyway.
All right. Here. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Let me find out who wrote it for you.
Oh, I had to yawn a little bit.
This was written by Bert Lee,
Ooh.
E. Harris, Weston, and R.P. Weston. I wonder if those two are brothers. This is a British song, and I've Americanized one of the verses. They're talking about soccer, and so don't get mad at me, those of you who know what a football really is. This is called With Her Head Tucked Underneath Her Arm. In dear old London town as large as life, the ghost of Anne Boleyn walks, they declare. For Anne Boleyn was once King Henry's wife, until he had the headsman bob her hair. King Henry did her wrong long years ago, and she comes up at night to tell him so, with her head tucked underneath her arm. She walks the bloody tower, with her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight air. She comes to haunt King Henry, she means giving him what for. Gadzooks, she's going to tell him off for having spilled her gore. And just in case the headsman wants to give her an encore, she has her head tucked underneath her arm. With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody town. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight air. Along the drafty corridors for miles and miles she goes. She often catches cold, poor thing, it's cold there when it blows. And it's awfully awkward for the Queen to have to blow her nose, with her head tucked underneath her arm. Sometimes gay King Henry gives a spread for all his gals and pals, the ghostly crew. King Henry carves the joint and cuts the bread. The headsman carves the joint and cuts the bread. And in walks Anne Boleyn to queer the do. She holds her head up with a wild war whoop, and Henry cries, "Don't drop it in the soup." With her head tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody town. With her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. The sentries think that it's a football that she carries in, and when they've had a few, they shout, "Will the Patriots win?" They think that it's Tom Brady in a cold Anne Boleyn, with her head tucked underneath her arm, with her head tucked underneath her arm. She walks the bloody town with her head tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. One night she caught King Henry, he was in the canteen bar. Said he, "Are you Jane Seymour, Anne Boleyn, or Catherine Parr? For how the sweet Sanfarians do I know who you are? With your head tucked underneath your arm."
Oh, we got a few comments here. We have Pam Hanks, and that's Hankes.
Hello, Pam, and welcome. I
Yes.
don't believe you've joined us before.
Says, nice to be here and get to listen in for the first time.
Oh, welcome to our home, and to all of our. And I'd like you to meet all our friends.
Yes.
It's wonderful to see you. I hope you enjoy the show, and that you'll come back and tell your friends about us.
Howard is here. Howard Solomon.
Hey,
Hi,
Howard.
George and Lynn.
Good to see you.
Like that head tucked underneath her arm.
Yeah, that's a
one we
good
like.
song. It was first recorded, as far as I know, by a guy named Holloway in 1934.
Oh my.
So it's an oldie.
And let's see, Ziggy heard this song about Ann B quite a lot recently. Smiley face. And
Yes, well.
Hillary said, "I am singing with her head tucked underneath her arm along with you." Well,
Okay.
chorus anyway. And Kathy Brittell.
Hello, Kathy.
And
Welcome.
says, "Loving this, Howard. You have an amazing memory, unless you're reading with your toes." That was a bad joke. Wonderful stuff.
Thanks, Kathy. Actually, you're not far out. I am, in a sense, reading with
Yes,
my
it's
toes.
trying something new.
This is a brand new thing that I'm trying today because I went to CAG, and I got back on Tuesday or on Monday. Tuesday I sort of had to decompress, so I only had 3 days to pull this show together, and that's not enough time even for me to memorize all the words. And I've been working on this setup for a while. Basically what I have is a transcriber pedal, and I've got a piece of software that allows me to translate the signals that come from the pedal to keystrokes. So I put all my songs that I'm going to do today, or almost all of them, some of them I already knew, but most of the songs that I'm going to do today I put in a text file on my laptop, paired up a Bluetooth earbud, so I could hear it without you all having to hear my artificial talker. And then whenever I need the next line of the song, I press the pedal and I get the next line. So I am, in fact, reading with my toes. How prescient of you. And you got to see it with your own eyes. Here is the clock, by the way. I forgot.
Oh, I don't need it.
You don't need it.
No, I discovered all I have to do is pull down.
The time is 1:59.
That's what I have, 1:59, it says on the phone. And I have,
Okay. Well,
Ziggy said, "Kathy, Howard is meant to be George, isn't it?" And I think that's what she meant.
I knew what she meant.
Yeah, we knew what you meant. And Brenda Hale, "With your head tucked underneath your arms, like song and your accent. Don't know this song."
Oh, I'm surprised.
It's a good...
It's a good song. But we just had a great time at CAG.
And Kathy said, "OMG, I am so impressed," with several exclamation points.
Thank you.
And that's all I got.
I might do this more often because I do spend an awful lot of my life memorizing lyrics. I still have to memorize all the music, but that's a little easier than memorizing all the words.
Well, how many songs That's a tough question. Do you know that you could...
That I could just pull out right off the top of my head? Probably a couple hundred.
Paul Boxmeyer.
Hi,
Wonderful
Paul.
use of technology.
Thank you.
And Brenda, time here in UK tonight is 8 p.m. Clocks go back tonight.
Oh, I shall remember that when I do my invitations from now on. Thank you for telling me that.
Yes.
Yeah, ours go back tomorrow morning, too.
Is it tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
You set your clocks back today, which is better than the other way around where you're always late.
Yeah.
Here is another song that I did at my concert at CAG. They took a huge risk and they let me do a concert. It's the first concert I'd ever done in my life, folks. And some of you, I told this earlier, but it's worth repeating for the newcomers. It was very well received. And Dan Woking played a few with me. He went with me to kind of help me out. And he really added a lot to the gathering because not only is he a great musician, but he helped me get things done that would have taken me a lot of time, like to learn the campus and all of that. I didn't have to do those things, although Lulu and I did learn it eventually. So he facilitated me playing music till all hours of the morning all the time. This song was sung by a guy named Flippy T. Fishhead. And
You sure you're not making these names up?
I swear. I swear. Honest. Flippy T. Fishhead. And this brought down the house. It really did. I never expected to get the reaction out of this that I got from that group out there. It's called I'm a Werecow. There's a full moon in the pasture tonight. It hangs like a finely polished pearl, so pure and white. Most guys find great beauty in its light, but I'm a werecow. Moo, moo, moo. I'm a werecow, and now I'm stuck. It seemed so innocent when Bossy bit my hand. I was just trying to milk her, but I didn't understand that Bossy really was Pierre the handyman. He was a werecow. Moo, moo, moo. He was a werecow. Moo, moo, moo. He was a werecow. By day I worked the fields here on my daddy's farm. By night I roamed the neighbor's place in search of corn. Chewing my cud and trying to keep my udders warm. I'm a werecow. Moo, moo, moo. I'm a werecow. The mornings after always make my family wince. I know it's hard for them to try and make some sense of finding me naked with my head stuck through a fence. I'm a werecow. Moo, moo, moo. I'm a werecow. I found this gypsy who said she could break the curse. She said she sympathized with me, but she'd seen worse. Said Lon Chaney Jr. used to be a client of hers. She was pretty. She wore a nice dress. Shoot, I was impressed. She asked for money and I gladly said I'd pay. When she said $1 million, I swear I was enraged. So I bit that gypsy, and now? Well, we're engaged. She's a were-cow. Moo, moo, moo. She's a were-cow. Right, pretty little heifer she is, too. These days the sheriff lets me spend my nights in jail, so I won't hurt nobody when the moon is pale. Or wind up as an entree at the local steak and ale. I'm a were-cow. Moo, moo, moo. I'm a were-cow. Somebody call a vet. Yeah, I think I got a touch of milk fever. I'm a were-cow. By the time I got done with that song, everybody in the place was mooing along. I've never had that happen before when I did that song.
I think Paul had said wonderful use of technology, but I think
yes, he
may have
did.
read
You
that.
read that.
And Brenda, time here in UK tonight.
Yep, he read that. You read that.
And then I have Ziggy. All my clocks but one are radio controlled, so the yearly changes don't bother me much.
Oh,
that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah, because if when you have to set them back, you got to go all the way around, you know. Here's a song that was written by Fred Ebb and Paul Klein, and it's actually supposed to be sung by a woman, but in these days of gender identification, I guess I can get away with it. The artist's name is Betty Johnson. It was recorded in 1958. And
I'm sorry. Howard said getting the phone number for the vet right now.
Thank you. I'm glad there are other people with a warped sense of humor. I don't feel so all alone now, Howard. Thank you. This song is called The Little Blue Man. One morning when I was out shopping, though you'll find it hard to believe, the little blue man came out of the crowd and timidly tugged at my sleeve. I love you, said the little blue man. I love you to bits. I love you, he loved me, said the little blue man, and scared me right out of my wits. I hurried back to my apartment. I rushed in and I closed the door. But there on the desk stood the little blue man, who started to tell me once more. I love you, said the little blue man. I love you to bits. I love you, he loved me, said the little blue man, and scared me right out of my wits. 4 weeks after that I was haunted, though no one could see him but me. Right by my side was a little blue man, wherever I happened to be. One evening in wild desperation, I rushed to a rooftop in town, and over the side pushed the little blue man, who sang to me all the way down. I love you, said the little blue man. I love you to bits. I love you, said the little blue man, and scared me right out of my wits. I whispered, thank goodness that's over. I smiled as I hurried outside. But there on the street stood little blue man who said with a tear in his eye, I don't love you anymore. Little xenophobia there in 1958.
Yeah.
Well, I pretty much talked CAG to death, but what a great time we had and everything. I hope I can get back there someday. And if MLAG is anything like CAG, boy, it's going to be a red letter year for me. Now, while I was there, I got to meet Pete Daigle and his lovely wife Polly, and their cool little dog Harpo. Man, he's a pug. He's like 11-month-old pug puppy, and he couldn't figure Lulu out because no matter how much he bounced and played and everything, she wouldn't play with him. And she was working and all, but I stopped in because I wanted to meet Pete, and I was hoping to talk to him about a Prism and maybe for the first time in my life get my hands on a luthier-built Autoharp. Folks, if you don't have any money, don't do it, because you won't want to play your mass-produced Autoharps anymore. Let's leave them alone. But I got to play 3 different models of Pete's Autoharps. I didn't play them really well because mine are set up. This is kind of Autoharp ease for those of you who don't play the Autoharp. Just bear with me for a minute. This Autoharp is set up the way Oscar Schmidt does them, and almost everybody now sets them up a different way. But I was able to play a couple of them. And boy, once you do that, you're never going to want to go back. The sound was terrific, and Pete was really nice. I had other people came in, and I asked him, I said, do you need it? He said, no, play it as long as you want to. And then I found out later on that a lot of the people came in to listen to me play that harp, which kind of blew my mind. But while I was there, I went ahead. I didn't realize Pete was there to actually work. I thought he was just selling things. And when I found out that he would actually do some work, I had him lower the action on this Autoharp that I've owned for almost 40 years. He lowered the action. He put weaker springs in it, so that it's not so hard to push the buttons. And when he took it apart, he said, yeah, you've been working too hard with this Autoharp. You've got the felts all cut up.
Yeah.
And so then I did my workshop for that day, and I went back and gave it to him again overnight, and he refelted it. And it's like mechanically and everything, it's a completely new harp. These strings aren't a year old. But it changed the way the harp felt. And I play it totally by feel, so actually I don't play it as well as I did before he worked on it, but I can do things. Let's see if I can show you. Nope, I can't. I couldn't do that thing, and I can't do it all the time now.
But I never heard you do those little tricks like that.
Yeah, I couldn't.
To that degree.
I couldn't. I did them, but I couldn't do them like that. So he overhauled the Autoharp, and then I met a guy out there named Steve Gittleman, who had 2 Autoharps, 2 Daigles that were laid out basically like mine is, the Oscar Schmidt layout. And he lent me one of them while Pete was refelting this one. So not only did I get to play Pete's luthier Autoharps, but then I got to play one of Steve's for 24 hours.
Oh.
Okay? Anyway, Pete has, I wanted to tell you about this. Pete has a new Autoharp on the market. It's just now coming out. In fact, when I was at CAG, there was only one. He brought the prototype. It's called the Tahoma. And folks, if you ever wanted to own a luthier Autoharp and maybe didn't quite have the money, this one might be for you. It is on the lower end price range. There is an introductory offer on it. It's called the Tahoma, and it's a completely new design. Pete was trying to make a solid body acoustic, and he couldn't get it to work out. This thing is built with the frame, the bracing, and the top are all one piece of piano pin block plywood, ply, like they use for the pin blocks of pianos. That whole part is one piece. He's got a CNC machine, and he starts out with a solid block of wood, and he carves this all out. So the braces aren't glued in. They're not going to, come off. And he's got sound channels carved all the way, all through it. And I'm telling you what, the sound is unbelievable. I think it sounds better than some of the high-end harps that I played that he had there, especially on the low to medium end, the bass and mid-range strings. My goodness, somebody wandered in there with a guitar while I was messing around. I kept coming back to play it, it was unbelievable. It has a great sound. The back is instrument-grade oakium ply from France. Now, these come standard with Pete. They've got fine tuners. I've never had fine tuners before. They've got Pete's Mylar spring system, which are like leaf springs, like the ones in the back of a car. So they're not going to give you that screen door squeaky sound that the coil springs do. They're not going to get stuck in the cord bars so that the cord bars get stuck, like it's happened to me. They're not going to break and wear out. He's got aluminum extrusion cord bars that are put through a press and arched in the middle to make the action better, and they're guaranteed never to warp. It comes with the Brian Bowers style 21 chord chromatic layout. You can get strap buttons installed, or they'll send them with your order in case you want to put them somewhere they don't. There's a limited lifetime warranty for defects in manufacturing or anything. If something like that goes wrong, if the top would for some weird reason warp or something like that, Pete will make it right. If you want, you can get a built-in magnetic pickup. You can get lock bars. I should have asked him about those. I could have looked at a harp with him. I don't know what they are or how they work. Kathy could probably tell you. You can get your own setup for extra money. He'll configure the buttons any way you want. You can get 9, 12, and 18 bar chromatic and diatonic setups if you want them that way, which of course would probably leave you more room if you want to play it Kilby Snow style. Here's something that blew my mind. You can buy this, you can bring it home, you can play it for 30 days, and if you decide for some weird reason you don't like it, ship it back. Pete will give you your money back. You cannot beat that deal anywhere. Comes the standard model without any modifications with case is $1,395. That's all, and about $65 or $70 shipping to you wherever you are in the country. I don't know, but all the luthier Autoharps I've looked at have been $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, and you can reserve one for a couple $100. He's got a no interest layaway plan, so you can put down a deposit, tell him you want it in 6 months or whatever, I guess, and pay it off. Or you can put down a deposit and get in line, because I guarantee you there's going to be a waiting list for these. Anyway, I was really, really impressed with that Autoharp. So if you ever wanted a luthier Autoharp, go to Daigle-Harp, D-A-I-G-L-E harp.com, and get in line, friends and neighbors, because these are great. I got to play, like I said, several of his Autoharps, and I didn't find one that sounded any better. I really didn't.
Wow. I have a couple comments here.
Okay.
On the clock, turning, going back.
Turning back.
Brenda says, Bob says, don't turn a striking backward. We have stopped hours for 1 hour, which also would work.
Not when you have a digital clock.
Oh, a digital. No.
With that clock that I was playing with a minute ago that you heard talk, you've got to go into the set time mode and go all the way around and hit the hour button over and over. But yeah, otherwise, sure.
On a couple of mine.
On an analog clock, that's all you have to do, as long as you don't forget to start it up again.
Right.
That would be our problem, probably.
And Hillary said, oh my, I haven't heard The Little Blue Man for many a long year.
Glad you were here, Hillary. Glad you liked
that's
it.
That's a good song.
We're going to run out of time before we run out of songs, that's for sure.
Well, let's see, we're at...
about 15 after the hour.
Hang on a minute. I did a thing.
From now on, I'm going to give you the clock.
No, I've got it. It's 2:21.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're not going to get to all these. I don't want to keep you all forever.
That's okay.
But I'll have to decide which ones I want to do. I'm going to do this one, though.
Okay. Pick your favorites. You can go back and pick up the others if there's time.
Well, that's true. I heard this song on a radio program called Calling All Cowboys. It's called Hellbent for Leather. I don't know who wrote it, and I don't know who performed it, and I can't find it anywhere on the internet, so the title must be something else.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Hellbent for Leather. In the Sangre de Cristos, the blood of Christ, they say, there's a 2-bit prison rodeo in a town called Judgment Day. He was spawned by a twister, a brother to the night. The demon wrapped in rawhide and that bull was born to fight. They called him Hellbent for Leather. In his eyes you could see the souls of all the men who rode and died, bucking hard into forever. It was hell-bent for leather if you drew the demon's ride. Now Billy rode the big bulls. The circuit was his life. But he was doing time in the big house 'cause a stranger killed his wife. He had a snowbank west of Cheyenne, no alibi for the night she died. Now 3 days shy of a dead man's walk, he prayed for one last ride. And he drew hell-bent for leather. In his eyes you could see the souls of all the men who rode and died, bucking hard into forever. It was hell-bent for leather if you drew the demon's ride. Sunset blood red under dark green clouds in old New Mexico. For a mountain town, it was a good-sized crowd for that prison rodeo. The tougher souls stayed on that night to watch the clouds roll in. And as the storm kicked up and the thunder rolled, the bull rides, they did begin. And it was hell-bent for leather. In his eyes you could see the souls of all the men who rode and died, bucking hard into forever. Hell-bent for leather if you drew the demon's ride. Leather was the last roll in, eyes blazed in the pouring rain. As he bellowed with the howling wind, young Billy looked insane. For a moment all stood deathly still as he dropped on Leather's back. Not a breath of wind, not a thunder's roll, but the sky turned green to black. The buzzer laughter sounded long and loud like a woman's frightened scream. And they say the ride of legends began and played out like Satan's dream. Kind of like that verse. It seemed to last till the dead of night, that 8-second round. As the clock hit 2 clicks more, lightning struck the ground. The tougher souls who stayed that night all swear before their eyes, both bull and man in a brilliant flash disappeared into starlit skies. And it was hell-bent for leather. In his eyes you could see the souls of all the men who rode and died, bucking hard into forever. It was hell-bent for leather if you drew the demon's ride. There's justice done in a stormy night in a town called Judgment Day, when a greater hand took an innocent man and a killer bull away. Legends say when the thunder rolls and the sky turns black and green, there's a ghostly glow by the rodeo, and in the mists he can be seen riding hell-bent for leather. In his eyes you can see the souls of all the men who rode and died, bucking hard into forever. It was hell-bent for leather if you drew the demon's ride. In the Sangre de Cristos, the blood of Christ, they say, there's a 2-bit prison rodeo in a town called Judgment Day.
Wow. I just go there when you sing that. I'd see it.
Okay. Let us... Here's another ghost story. Written by Gene Dentry and J.B. Detterline Jr. and sung by David Allan Coe. It's one of Lin's favorite songs. It's called The Ride. I was thumbing from Montgomery. I had my guitar on my back when a stranger stopped beside me in an antique Cadillac. He was dressed like 1950, half drunk and hollow-eyed. He said, "It's a long walk to Nashville. Would you like a ride, son?" And I sat down in the front seat. He turned on the radio, and them sad old songs coming out of them speakers was solid country gold. Then I noticed the stranger was ghost white pale as he asked me for a light, and I knew there was something strange about this ride. He said, "Drifter, can you make folks cry when you play and sing? Have you paid your dues? Can you moan the blues? Can you bend them guitar strings?" He said, "Boy, can you make folks feel what you feel inside? If you're a big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride." Then he cried just south of Nashville, and he turned that car around. He said, "This is where you get off, boy, 'cause I'm going back to Alabama." As I stepped out of that Cadillac, I said, "Mister, many thanks." He said, "You don't have to call me Mister. The whole world called me Hank." He said, "Drifter, can you make folks cry when you play and sing? Have you paid your dues? Can you moan the blues? Can you bend them guitar strings?" He said, "Boy, can you make folks feel what you feel inside? 'Cause if you're a big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride." He said, "Drifter, can you make folks cry when you play and sing? Have you paid your dues? Can you moan the blues? Can you bend them guitar strings?" He said, boy, can you make folks feel what you feel inside? 'Cause if you're a big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride. If you're a big star bound, let me warn you, it's a long, hard ride.
Ah, thank you. I love that one.
Yeah,
Old Hank.
me too. Oh, I didn't set this up, and I'm going to need it. Just a moment. Little. Oh, it worked far out.
Really?
Let me go through these and see what I've got. Oh, got to do this. Got to do this. Here's a song that was written by Bob Hallett and was performed by a Canadian group. They're a bunch of newfies from out of St. John's. They're called Great Big Sea. And this is called French Perfume. I'll see if I can show off my new... Couldn't do that the other day until Pete worked on this. Want to hear it again? 'Tis of a bold young smuggler, from fortune he did sail. He rode the waves from St. Pierre, and he never saw the jail. He filled her up with contraband, perfume, smokes, and rum, and he hoped the fog was thick enough to make another run. You can still see the sight on a winter's night of his wake in the light of the moon. If the wind turns right and you don't take fright, you can smell that French perfume. But the Mountie boat was waiting as he crawled up towards her bay, and when they hit the spotlight, it was like the light of day. He didn't bring her head round when they told him to heave to. They opened up the engines and he ran for Spanish Room. You can still see the sight on a winter's night of his wake in the light of the moon. If the wind turns right and you don't take fright, you can smell that French perfume. They say they heard him laughing with the Mounties closing in, his engine screaming murder and his face set in a grin. The seagull started lifting like an angry banshee choir. He hit the rocks at 50 clicks and the sky lit up with fire. 'Tis of a bold young smuggler, from fortune he did sail. He rode the waves from St. Pierre and he never saw the jail. And when it's cold and foggy on the rocks near Spanish Room, you say you hear him laughing and you smell that French perfume. You can still see the sight on a winter's night of his wake in the light of the moon. If the wind turns right and you don't take fright, you can smell that French perfume. You can smell that French perfume.
Oh, Ziggy said, I just counted my DA Co vinyl LPs. I've got only 5. Smile face. 5. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, absolutely. How much time have we got?
Give me a moment. Should I do it the right way this time? It is 2:34.
Okay. All right, here's a song by Bob Rivers. It's called The Trick-or-Treating Blues. Let's see here.
Trick-or-treating blues.
Yeah. It was written and recorded by Bob Rivers. He does parodies all the time.
Oh, okay.
And this is a parody of Folsom Prison Blues.
Oh, okay.
You'll know that right away when I start playing it. I hear those kids a comin'. It's Halloween again, and I ain't got no goodies. I'm out of M&Ms. I'm stuck inside this dark house. Doorbell keeps ringing on. But those monsters keep on coming, traipsing across my lawn. When I was just a young boy, my mama dressed me up, put me in a pink dress. Kids called me Buttercup, and I punched a kid for laughing just to watch him cry. Now when I hear that doorbell ringing, turn out the lights then hide. I know they're only youngins, I shouldn't get upset, but they said a bag of dog doo-doo blaze on my front steps. I'm stuck inside this dark house, doorbell keeps ringing on. And I wish those pesky varmints would just leave me alone.
Nan said nice, but I don't think it was that song. It was one before.
Yeah.
And Ziggy said great break, and also and a great parody.
Thank you, Ziggy. Thank you very much.
Good break too. He's right. Well done.
Okay. Let me look at my list.
Nan said love it, and Gregory Carr, what is the exact title of this parody?
It's called The Trick-or-Treating Blues, and it's a parody of the Folsom Prison Blues, and it's by Bob Rivers, and it's on his album Lost Holiday Classics, okay, which features such great hits as 50 Plates to Feed My Brother and others that you'll just absolutely love. Okay. I don't want to do that one no matter what else I do. Okay. We did Monster Mash a little while ago. You know, most people have heard that. This is a parody done by, I don't know who wrote it exactly, but it was done by a group called The Toys. All right? And it's for all you current and former tokesters out there, and it's called Monster Hash.
Uh-oh.
I was working in the lab late one night when I heard the gurgle of a water pipe. So I turned to see my monster in a cloud of smoke. He said, "This shit ain't bad. Here, have a toke." We smoked some hash. We smoked some monster hash. Some monster hash. It was his personal stash. We smoked some hash. We got completely trashed on monster hash. We smoked some monster hash as we partied in the castle with the living dead. Mouths were dry and eyes were red. The ghouls and goblins shrieked and screamed. Won't somebody please pass the Visine? They smoked some hash. They smoked some monster hash. Some monster hash. From Frankie's personal stash, we smoked some hash. And they all were smashed on monster hash. They smoked some monster hash. The mummy was toking on a bong. Wolfman said, "Don't bogart that, pass it along." The swamp thing was toasted, rolling on the floor, laughing hysterically and pleading for more. The scene was rockin' as the werewolves moved to the undead reggae band's dance hall grooves. Meanwhile in the kitchen, Frankenstein baked some Alice B. Toklas brownies and cakes. We ate some hash, we ate some monster hash, some monster hash. It had the graveyard smashed. We ate some hash, and we all got trashed on monster hash. We ate some monster hash. The party would have gone on till we all passed out. But just then we heard a blood-curdling shout. Watch out! Beware! Cover your necks! Dracula's got the munchies and he's totally wrecked! He smoked some hash. He smoked some monster hash. Some monster hash. He was completely smashed. He smoked some hash. That Transylvanian's trashed on monster hash. He smoked some monster hash. Now every night the dead raise up out of the grave to partake in our happening THC rave. For you, the living, this hash was meant to. When you get to my door, say that the toys sent you. We'll smoke some hash. We'll smoke some monster hash. Some monster hash. And we'll all get trashed. We'll smoke some hash from my personal stash of monster hash. We'll smoke some monster hash. That shit good. Easy, boy. Save some for daddy. Hash good. Hash.
Uh-oh. Nan said LOL exclamation point in capital letters. Oh, and Gregory Carr said thank you for the name of the...
Oh, you're welcome, Greg. No
So-
problem. I usually do a little research. I try to give credit. I'll get the right name, give credit to the writer and the at least the artist, the earliest artist I can find. So tell your friends about us. If you want to risk the state of your friendship, we'd love to have them.
Yes.
But we really enjoy being with you guys every other Saturday. I wish it could be more often.
Yeah, we appreciate all of you guys coming to visit with us. It means a lot. We look forward to it.
Okay, here we go. Here's one done, written and recorded by Buck Owens of Hee Haw fame.
Oh, really?
And many other things. And it's called Monsters Holiday. Happens when I get tangled up in these new buttons. Frankenstein was first in line and the Wolfman came up next. Dracula was doing his stuff, breathing down my neck. Jump back, make track, here comes a hunchback, you better get out of his way. Fee, fee, fi, fi, fo, fo, fum, it was a monster's holiday. Well, I hopped into bed, covered up my head, said I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. I got woken up about 12 o'clock, and I jumped right to my feet. There were gremlins, goblins, dragons, and zombies. Lord, what an awful sight. I said, good buddy, you may get me, but brother, let me tell you that it's gonna be after the fight. Frankenstein was first in line, and the Wolfman came up next. Dracula was doing his stuff, breathing down my neck. Jump back, make tracks, here comes the hunchback, you better get out of his way. Fee, fee, fi, fi, fo, fo, fum, it was a monster's holiday. Uncle Bill sent for me to come. Well, I had to pass by the old graveyard, so I went on the run. There was screaming and moaning, wailing and groaning, scary as a mommy's curse. I said, good buddy, you may get me, but brother, let me tell you that you're gonna have to catch me first. Fee-fee-fi, Frankenstein was the first in line, and the Wolfman came up next. Dracula was a-doing his stuff, breathing down my neck. Jump back, make track, here's come the hunchback, you better get out of his way. Fee-fee-fi-fi, fo-fo-fum, it was a monster's holiday. Fee-fee-fi-fi, fo-fo-fum, it was a monster's holiday.
Yeah.
Buck Owens.
Pat said, yeah, that would have been great if we're here every Saturday night.
Yeah, well, I could probably do an hour every Saturday night. Shorter shows. But I'd have to talk Miss Linda into it.
Oh.
You know, she has a life, believe it or not.
Oh, but
And she's an artist, for those of you who don't know. It's kind of weird that an artist and a blind guy got married, but I guess that way I don't criticize.
No, but you're very supportive.
She does landscapes and portrait painting, and she also is getting into painting on glassware.
Yes.
And we just got a new oven, so we're gonna try that out here pretty soon. I'm going backwards in the list, but let me see what else we might have here. Okay, let's see. Keep me informed on time. I know it kind of breaks up.
It was 2:45 a couple minutes ago. It was 2:47. I was right. 2 minutes ago, it was 2:45.
All right. I think we have time for a couple or three more of these.
Okay.
Here's a song that was written by Robert Gedden and recorded by a guy named Jumpin' Gene Simmons. And it is called Haunted House. I just moved in my house today. Moving was hard, but I got squared away. Bells started ringing and chains rattled out. Knew I'd moved in a haunted house. Still I made up in my mind to stay. Nothing was a-gonna drive me away. Thought when I seen something that gave me the creep. Had one big eye and two big feet. I stood right still and I did the freeze. He did the stroll right up to me. Made a noise with his feet that sounded like a drum. So you'll be here when the morning comes. So yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here and I ain't gonna run. I bought this house, now you know I'm boss. Ain't no haint gonna run me off. In my kitchen, my stove was blazing hot. Coffee was a-boiling in the pot. The grease had melted in my pan. I had a hunk of meat in my hand. From outer space there sat a man on the hot stove with all the pots and pans. Say that's hot, I began to shout. He drank the hot coffee right from the spout. ate the raw meat right from my hand. Drank the hot grease from the frying pan. He said to me, now you better run. Don't be here when the morning comes. So yes, I'll be here when the morning comes. I'll be right here and I ain't gonna run. I bought this house and you know I'm boss. Ain't no ain't gonna run me off. Jumpin' Gene Simmons.
Nice. And I have one from Howard. Love the haunted house song. Time to go look up and memorize a few more lyrics. Thanks for the reminder. Good to have you with us, Howard.
Indeed it is, sir. I love it when you can drop in to visit us. We're just so happy to have everybody here today.
Yes.
It's a rainy, cold, more, kind of
Winter's coming.
Spooky. Good night for the visit by the supernatural tonight. Yeah,
Oh my,
sure
yes.
this is All Souls Day, the day before Halloween, and but we're all warm and comfortable here on our virtual back porch.
Yes.
And we're really glad that you all came to see us today.
We're at 2:51. So we still have a little time.
Okay. Well, in that case, going to play. I might get all these in. I'm going to play. Going to play a kind of a ghost story. It's also kind of a commentary on things. It's a Tom Paxton tune from his album Good News, 1965, I believe, and it's called Georgie on the Freeways. The summer sun was beating down, no pity would it show. George Chester's office air conditioner would no longer go. As pools of sweat rolled off his brow, he had one reverie. He saw himself with his wife and kids in his cottage by the sea. He paid for his car at the parking lot, which gave the poor man chills. The attendant laughed and walked away, thumbing a roll of bills. He started his engine with trembling hands at the end of a long, hard day, and placing himself in the hands of God, he drove to the long freeway. The traffic stretched far as the eye could see, as bumper to bumper they sped. They drove at supernatural speeds, which filled his heart with dread. Sometimes they'd stop for an hour or more, and 1,000 horns would blow. George Chester's eyes rolled back in his head, and his poor brain started to go. He came at last to the turnpike gate, and he laid his money down. He took the first turn to the right, and he followed the curve around. He took each bend of the clover leaf, he followed every sign. And when he came back to the same toll gate, he gave them another dime. His hands were tight on the steering wheel, his lips and throat were dry. He swore by all that he held dear, he'd make it through or die. He took the first turn to the right, the clover leaf to go through. He was quite sure of his success till the toll gate hove when the moon is full and the clover leaf is still. The sound of an engine can be heard laboring up the hill. A dime drops in the toll machine in the cool of a summer's night. And eternally that poor car takes the first turn to the right.
I'm going to read Lavanda's here because she's said, great show, glad your trip was awesome, and catch you next time.
Okay, I'm glad you came, and I hope everybody's doing good up there. Have to get together and yak one of these days, Lavanda, if you're still in there. Anyway, have a great day and a happy Halloween, and we'll talk soon.
And I have Hillary, love that Paxton song. Mind you, I like all Tom Paxton songs, the humorous and the songs that make you think.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that is
Tom,
so true
Tom
because he does.
was a genius. He really. I agree with you, and you know about it how his talent is because of all the people who covered his music.
You know the way he writes it, he's quite a thinker himself. He spends time. Is Tom still with us?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I do not know the answer to that.
I think so.
I think so too.
The time is 2:57 p.m.
Okay. Let me find this. Don't do that to me, computer.
It went out in the weeds.
This computer has what's called a touch bar.
Oh.
And if you even come close to touching it, it'll launch things.
No.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
All right. Here's a song by Norman Greenbaum, wrote it. And it was recorded by Dr. West's Medicine Show and Jug Band. I love jug bands anyway. It's a certain style of music. Well, when I was out there, I met a lady by the name, I meant to mention this, I met a lady by the name of Meredith Axelrod, who I always wondered how people played the jug. And she played it in a concert she did with Jim Kweskin, because he used to have a jug band. And I met her at lunch one day, and she didn't see my dog. That happens to me a lot, by the way, folks. Because Lulu just lays there. Yeah. We'll go into a restaurant like at the beginning of lunch hour, and by the time we eat, it's full, and then this big dog comes out from under the table, and nobody ever knew she was there. But anyway, I asked her, and she kind of started talking with her hands and saying, well, you do it kind of like this and like that. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't picture that. And I don't know if Dan gave her a clue or she figured it out. She figured out I couldn't see. And she said, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you couldn't see. And I said, oh, there's a guide dog down here, look. And she said, I didn't even know the dog was there. But anyway, she does a show on Facebook at 8 o'clock Pacific time every night. A 40-minute Facebook show. Anyway, she showed me how to play the jug. It's just kind of a little aside. Just another one of those things. Go ahead.
Hillary said, George, what was the title of the song about the ghost ship?
It's called Tales of the Phantom Ship by Lenny Gallant, Gallant.
Tales of the Phantom Ship.
Yes.
Okay.
And it might be on my YouTube channel, and it's also on YouTube by him. You can find it if you want to learn it.
Love that song, too.
It's not hard. It uses, I play it in A minor, so it uses A minor, F, C, G, those kinds of chords. It's not hard to play. Anyway, this is by Dr. West's Medicine Show and Jug Band, and it's called The Eggplant That Ate Chicago. better watch out for the eggplant that ate Chicago, for he may eat your city soon. You'd better watch out for the eggplant that ate Chicago. If he's still hungry, the whole country's doomed. He came from outer space looking for something to eat. He landed in Chicago. He thought Chicago was a treat. It was sweet, just like sugar. Look, better watch out for the eggplant that ate Chicago, for he may eat your city soon. Wackadoo, wackadoo, wackadoo. You better watch out for the eggplant that ate Chicago. If he's still hungry, the whole country's doomed. From outer space, looking for something to eat. He landed in Chicago. He thought Chicago was a treat. It was sweet, just like sugar. You better watch out for the eggplant that ate Chicago, for he may eat your city soon. Wackadoo, wackadoo, wackadoo. Better watch out for the eggplant that ate Chicago. If he's still hungry, the whole country's doomed. If he's still hungry, the whole country's doomed.
Nice.
Watch out.
Ziggy said,
Watch the skies.
Yes. Ziggy said it's very appropriate to play a Paxton song right now. His birthday is 31st of October.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you just looked him up on Wikipedia, and he is still alive according to Wikipedia. Thank you, Ziggy.
Thank you, Ziggy.
And
great research.
Yes, appreciates that. Hillary said, thanks for another entertaining evening, George and Lynn.
Thank you.
Hillary, thank you
glad
for
you
being
liked
here.
It. And I don't want to go any further without thanking everybody who has contributed to the fund to send me to MLAG.
Yes.
We have a virtual tip jar. If you like what you heard and you can spare a buck or two, we'd appreciate it if you'd help us out. We have the travel and lodging expenses covered.
Thank you.
We don't have anything to cover price changes or anything yet. But thanks to you all and your support over the last year and a half, once we decided to do this, we're going to get there. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your donations and your constant support. It just means a lot to me that I'm going to get to go. It'll probably be the only time I get to go. But it's like CAG. I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. If you want to help us out, we have a PayPal account, and it's at autoharp.down.home@gmail.com, and it's on the bottom of your screen right now. And
MLAG or bust.
It'll MLAG or bust.
Yes.
It helps us out around here, not to have to take that out of our budget. Because we're on a fixed income. We did the best we could, and we've got enough to live on, but we don't really have a whole lot for any extras. So it's you guys did it.
Yes.
You're sending me to MLAG, so Many, many thanks once again for helping us out there.
Howard says, thanks for another great show.
You're welcome,
And
Howard. Come back and see us.
He said, somewhere in the Eggplant song, something should mention hot dogs from Maxwell Street.
You're right. But he ate Maxwell Street. It isn't there anymore, Howard.
Oh.
They did a MASH episode about that once.
I
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. So, happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes,
Don't
and
forget to
thank
set
you,
your
thank
clocks
you.
back if you're in the U.S. The time changes tonight, or I guess in the U.K. as well. Take good care of yourselves. Goodbye.
And Ziggy said, I'd also like to thank you for this really great, funny concert.
Thanks, Ziggy.
Smiley face.
We'll see you tonight.
Heart and smiley face. And he said, see you again in about 3 hours.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
And folks, as Roy Rogers used to say, goodbye, good luck, and may the good Lord take a liking to you.
Yes.
Well, now it's time to say goodbye to George and all his kin. We'd sure like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back real soon to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. Down home style, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now here.